Good evening, KritzKast! Welcome to Season 18 Awards Show, a wrap of everything that has happened in the last couple of months. There have obviously been ups and they obviously been downs, but we have all been staggered by the amount of competition the teams have provided all of us, and we're here to talk about it. So, of course, I'm well known, but I'm going to introduce myself anyway. I'm Jake, and today I'm joined by a distinguished cast of individuals who are going to speak their mind on the good and the bad of Season 18 of ETF2L Highlander 2019. And we're going to start with Mr. CeeJaey, the Strong Opinions leader, Strong Opinions medic, and a fellow caster of ours, nominated for 2 awards this time, and now he's a guest. So, welcome you to the show. Right next to him is none other than Buck824, also known as Buck, just on its own, Wheat Cake Sellers representative, and also a fellow caster nominated in the same group as we are. So you have 3 casters at the top. I'd like you to notice that. Then at the bottom on the left is no other than Proky, the ETF2L Admin, as well as the Monkey Mode player, Monkey Mode, which won the Division 1, and now he has moved on to new endeavors. We shall see, and we'll talk about it today, I hope, about that Proky. And next up is Croix. I believe I am spelling this one right. The Factory Road, a representative, and a French national player. He's going to be playing the Nationals, so we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. And last but none the least is Mezzo, aka Mezrino, a former Fela esports player, and now representing a brand new team, or not really a brand new, but a new team nevertheless. Welcome, gentlemen. Now that the victors are chosen, it's down to us, the scribes, to jot it all down in the books of history and turn the next page. So, how are you feeling tonight?
Pretty good, Jake. I'm feeling good.
Wow, dead.
Well, you know, it's been a rough season, to be honest. We've had basically a lot of upsets. People have never really expected. For example, Fela pretty much leading the entire season on the top seed. And that was pretty impressive, considering that Strong Opinions were also playing this season as well. So, I mean, CeeJaey, what do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, Fela were probably the strongest team. We knew that before the start of the season. I think our main thing was we didn't want to play them in week 1 because they would have just destroyed us in week 1 easily, because we just weren't practiced. But in scrims, each week, we were kind of winning games against them, losing games, back and forth. So I suppose going into our official, we were sort of hopeful. We thought Cold Plant might be a struggle because it's always one of their better maps. But we just didn't seal out the rounds on Galleywash. And I think we were in control for most of the game. I made some mistakes. Mezzo over there, I don't know which way do I point? That way. He killed me a couple of times in cringy fashion on Galley. There was one where he killed me jumping down from river. So yeah, I mean, if I'd played better on both maps, I think we would have got points there, which would have maybe shaped the table a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, after the regular season, they were definitely the team to beat.
Well, congratulations to you. I mean, after all, it was Strong Opinions that won the season, but, I mean, Mezzo, Fela Esports pretty much hanging in there at the top. They're still at the top if you check the standings. They still lead with 4 points over Strong Opinions, but forever the curse of Fela is that second place, the cursed second place. So, what have you done differently this season that you managed to pretty much dominate the entire tournament up until the very end, up until the grand finals against Strong Opinions?
I don't think we changed anything specifically, but we just kept playing and scrimmed a lot and tried our best. So yeah, we were kind of unlucky in the final. I think people gave up too early, and yeah, we pretty much had a good season, though, I would say.
That was a really good season. I mean, you know, Fela, I believe you guys agree with me, is one of those teams that is just kind of the everybody's favorite underdog. Anybody would comment on this?
They've always kind of been the second place. I mean, it's always usually been Strong Opinions or STCK for the past God knows how long. But I mean, honestly, you just got to give it to Joe and his ability to sort of rally the troops, I suppose, and they've played really well. Like, I mean, ultimately they did sort of like win the season, basically, like up to the point of the semi-finals and the finals, I guess. But yeah, I think overall they've done really well. But I suppose just strong opinions with some really strong players.
Mm. Right, and then obviously we have representatives of wheat cake sellers here, obviously, and we gotta talk a little bit about that, Bucky. You didn't end up last. You ended up fourth, just beyond the podium. But you ended up with 13 points, which is pretty respectable considering the level that we had this season. And what do you think were your high points and low points of the season? And are you going to continue playing as wheat cake sellers in Prem?
I mean, for our team, it all kind of changed when Noz joined because he was like, a breath of fresh air, really. Like, I mean, I kind of did most of the calling still, but Noz's damage, I mean, you can look at the charts, TF, and the logs, and he pretty much pounds consistently, so that helps us a lot. But yeah, I think overall we're going to be staying together. I know Sun possibly might be going off to HL Pugs, but I don't think anyone's really got any other plans. Noz might be doing like a mixed team or something, but yeah, we played really well, and for us to be debut and to get fourth in our debut, I was really happy with that. I wasn't expecting to get that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a pretty good start considering then you had the Victory Road, which we also have a representative here, Croix, who is now having a little bit of an issue connecting to us, but he should be with us shortly. And Proky, basically, I mean, you were wrapping up Division 1, so basically one step in Premiership already, but Monkey Mode winning this one, starting from third place, they had their chance, or you had your chance as Monkey Mode to go into Premiership this season, but you decided to change the strategy, as I see that the roster for Monkey Mode is pretty much empty at this point.
Yeah, it was a one-season thing. We had to get Aleski a first-place medal, so we went to Div 1, had some fun, got the medal. It was that was that, really.
And now you're reforming to Budget Tokens.
That's pretty doubtful, not gonna lie.
Ambitious.
Why is that? Why is that? Elaborate.
I mean, if I was to make another team, I'd want the players that I'd want, not to have to get other people in that I don't want to play with, so that's just not gonna happen. The people I want are either not playing or already got teams.
Shout out to Shaggy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is pretty much how the season has went. Fela kind of dominating the game, and then at the very end, Strong Opinions yet again coming out on top. I do believe it's your CeeJaey, it's your second or third title of this year.
This year?
This year alone.
Oh, I guess we won Copenhagen and Prem. Yeah, so it's just those two. We haven't played anything else.
Okay. It's still pretty respectable. I mean, you're on the longest streak, I believe. And yeah, the cameras are broken.
Yeah, Croix just joined with the second one, and now it's made it worse.
Wiethoofd is on it. Wiethoofd's producing this. Obviously, as usual, man is a machine, but this time around, a little bit unlucky with Discord, not really cooperating with us. But moving on, I mean, we've talked about how the season went. Now let's talk about how we feel about the season, lads. What do you think were... Let's start with the worst parts. Like, what did really annoy you most with Season 18 of ETF2L? You can say it, if DCS gets angry, I'm gonna calm him down. I don't know how. I'll pay him. But just lay it out. What really annoyed you?
Nothing annoyed me, really. I mean, I don't think there was anything majorly... I know a lot of people complained about the detonator, but then I'm not a spy, so I can't really comment on what it's like. But I know a lot of people complained about it. I do think that you do need another 5CP map in the rotation to kind of balance out all the game modes. That's just my personal opinion, to have 2 maps of each. 2 payloads, 2 Koth, 2 5CP. That's kind of, all balanced, but that's just my personal opinion. It wasn't a major deal breaker, I guess. But I don't think there was anything majorly wrong from my perspective. I don't know about anyone else.
Gentlemen? The map pool. Actually, that's a good point, CeeJaey. The map pool. We've seen a lot of Koth, and Koth seems to be very prevalent these days in Highlander, and I'm just wondering what is the reason for this, because I'm still the older date and washed up Prem player, and I've really always enjoyed payloads, but this time around, it seems that the flavor is really Koth. So I don't know what is the magic behind Koth, and what is it distancing the game mode itself from payloads or 5CPs?
I think with Koth and payload, like there's such a pace change really. Like payload is a lot more linear. You've got flank able to do a lot more on Koth in general, I'd say. It kind of attributes itself to just a lot of W play on Koth, but then you've also got the kind of sat plays and stuff, so it's kind of just confidence in like flanks. If you have a confident flank, I think the teams with that will usually prefer Koth, from what I've seen anyway.
Okay.
I agree with what Buck said, and especially as a scout main, I thought like I could see that I could have much more impact on the game on Koth maps, and I think that what CeeJaey proposed is like getting another Koth in the map pool would be a great idea, because not only it adds a faster way to play the game, but it's also more interesting to play, in my opinion, on those kind of maps.
All right. I mean, you're speaking from the perspective of a scout main, whereas we're kind of speaking from the perspective of a medic main who has a very miserable time on any Koth map ever. In my opinion, at least. I mean, it's not enjoyable for medic mains to play any TF2 games, really, but Koth
I think that's
especially.
good, though. Like, you need to have, like, the different maps, I think, because you need to have everyone out of their comfort zone at some point.
Raises the skill.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you just practice one game mode, then if you've got carries on those classes that are really good at a certain game mode, like Sniper, for example, Sniper is going to be nuts on Koth. So if you have the best Sniper, then, you're going to do really well. And like Qua said, like, he likes Koth, but probably Payload is a Scout's not so fun. And Spies maybe don't like 5CP as much because, it's difficult to kind of wait for those picks during the stalemates. So I think like the reason you need that balance is because it tests every point of your team. So there's going to be games where your spy's not going to be that influential. There's going to be games where your scout can't really be as carry as maybe they normally are and stuff like that. So I think that's what the balance is, and everyone needs to have one map a season where they're slightly uncomfortable.
And what is your uncomfortable map, CeeJaey?
Probably Steel, just because I always fall in the pit and just die to traps in grates and just generally have a miserable time,
Exclamation mark pit.
Yeah.
The cam's coming back, by the way, because this is
I think Jake's frozen.
Oh god. Is this where we nominate a second host? Is CeeJaey gonna have to fill in the role again?
Proky's the admin, so he's the next in command.
Oh boy.
Oh jeez.
I don't know what the talking topics were. You have to scroll up. The big scroll.
Hi boys. Okay. If you were the admin, what would you change next season?
That's an interesting question.
Probably.
Yeah, maps or whitelist wise, or
just what if you could change one thing in Highlander? What would it be?
Yeah, I agree with Mezzo. Vampire, yeah. Big F for pyro mains. Yeah, probably maps, I'd say. Because I think there needs to be like more open into different maps. I feel like at the moment it's kind of just the same maps over and over again. It does kind of get a bit boring sometimes. So for me personally, like, I know not everyone's a fan of like some of the UGC maps like Swiftwater and Lakeside and that sort of thing, but I feel like they should be sort of in the map pool like more often.
So larger maps.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, Borneo is already quite a large map, but Swiftwater as well is quite a big map. But not just payload, maybe, but depends.
The problem with Swiftwater and Borneo is that the prevalence of very good snipers in Premiership is basically if you don't have a good sniper in Premiership, you'll immediately put yourself at a massive disadvantage. I think Proky can agree with this. That if one team has a significantly better sniper than the other team, that team has a much higher chance of winning.
Oh yeah, of course. If the sniper's not being focused, then you will just win the game. So
I think there's like often too much of a focus on like just the sniper. Like, I mean, yeah, obviously the sniper fear, but end of the day, it comes down to like the whole team. Like, you've got all these 9 players. You've got the spy, you've got the soldier, you've got the scout, possibly even with bonk. Like, there are other ways of killing sniper just aside from your snipers. And if your sniper doesn't feel comfortable in the SVS, you can always just try and focus people like in different locations. So it's like, I think there's often too much focus on the sniper. But obviously, if you have a good sniper, that'll help. But end of the day, it's not like the be all end all.
All right. So, I have one last question before I think we should move on to the clue of this, the clue of this here show. Why we've all gathered today, taking the free time out of our own very busy schedules, is probably what, personally or for ETF2L, would you change about season 18 in comparison to, let's say, future seasons? Like, what would you like to see more of or less of? Personal or general, doesn't matter. I want your guys' opinion on how do we improve things. Anybody? Yeah, dead silence as usual. So I'm gonna pick one.
Come on, people, speak up. I don't want to keep speaking for all of you.
You have 3 casters here. Nobody's freaking speaking. So I'm gonna ask Mezzo. Mezzo, what do you think? What would you change personally for yourself only, or maybe for the team? I mean, I know Fela has lost a few people. Maybe you could elaborate on that. Are you guys keeping together? Are you still playing? Is Fela still playing?
No, they're not playing next season.
Is that a break, or is that definite like end of the legendary Fela Esports, the second place?
I'm pretty sure they won't play for next season. I think Joe, Layla, and Spanfest will join Victory Road in Prem, and they will have a close season in Highlander. But after the summer season, they might come back with Fela. That's what they told me.
All right, that's fair enough. And then Proky, you've changed, but you said budget tokens are not likely to happen.
It's very unlikely that that's going to happen. So don't get your hopes up there, boys.
And Croix, how about you? Is your team still playing? Are you guys keeping together, or are you disbanding and making new things?
Well, I think that the core, like me, Max, 20 grams, Lucian, will be playing together. But I don't know what are the plans, really, since I'm just only co-leading the team. So yeah, we might play or we might not play.
All right, fair enough. I mean, you haven't finished last. It was Kitties, unfortunately, who have visited us on Copenhagen land, which we're very grateful for. But they're a last spot, so they might not even be here next season. I hope them the best. But I believe we should move in to our awards of the season, and we have a list of nominations and games respectively. I'm not sure if we should go down that because there's a lot of names on that list. But I can just read very quickly. You're going to accustom yourselves with those players and say a little bit about the nominations, who is likely to win it, who is the person to watch. So I'm going to start with the scout of the season, the nominations at least. It's obviously Viljak from Strong Opinions with 4 nominations out of 6 games. You have Croix, who is with us today from Victory Road with 3 nominations in 5 games. Light Claw, the legendary scout for Kitties Bakkenbardami, 3 nominations and 5 games himself. Spans from Wheatcake Sellers with 3 nominations, and then Samsky with 3 nominations as well from Fela Esports. Gentlemen. Aside from Croix, who's here, by the way, so, we all think that he deserves to be here as well. But who is likely to get it? Because there's a very tight competition up here.
Well, the interesting thing to note really is the fact that there was, I think what's the criteria for rookie? Isn't it 3? Is
3 games
two noms
played in the regular season?
So 2 noms at least to get in or something? Because there's 5 of them, isn't there now? So
there's 5 of them because there's 4 players tied with 3 nominations each.
That's the one. So
and it would be unfair to kick one of them out.
See, that's kind of the most interesting part of this, the fact that it was so even in the nominations. So obviously that means Prem leaders obviously think that a mix of these scouts are worthy, and obviously that's really just testament as to how close I suppose the scout game was. But personally, I'd say probably it's either going to be Samsky or Viljak. I mean, I know Viljak's very sort of beam scout, but yeah, I think both of those scouts probably did best, like Samsky or Viljack.
I think the fact that there was like 5 people nominated means that like everyone kind of nominated for a few different people, so there wasn't sort of 3 clear best scouts perhaps, whereas maybe other classes there's kind of 3 players who are obviously the best in the division. So probably agree with what Buck said. Like stats wise, you just have to look at those 2. I think Viljack got like a killer minute or something during the regular season, so usually like scouts are going to do pretty well.
Yeah, Viljack was going absolutely crazy, and he's been on the forefront of a lot of that has happened, because sometimes we do miss the scout action. Because, for example, we focus on the big plays and the big pushes, and scouts are usually the auxiliary running around and cleaning up. And they always, or usually at least, end up with most kills, even though we don't really focus on them. And Lightclaw is one of those kind of silent killers, whereas I think Viljack is more of a, the guy who is at the forefront. I mean, in terms of kills, CeeJaey, you're right. He's topped the charts by a long shot above everyone else. Second one is Croix here with, 193 kills. And you think, wow, that's a lot of kills for as many games as we've played. Yeah, but then Viljack has 250 on point. So he might get it just simply because he's been visible a lot during the season, and he's been having amazing season after amazing season. I've seen him grow up from the spy main when he was playing for me to this, world-class scout. It's going to be fun. But I'm not sure how you want to do this, Proky. You're the admin, so you decide. Would you like to review?
Yeah, let's get him in the top 3.
All right.
So, in 3rd place is Spans with 69 votes. And the winner with 150 votes was Viljack, and Lightclaw placing 2nd with 75.
Wow.
So, pretty big margin at the top.
Fair play.
Croix, what do you think?
Viljack totally deserved the first place because he was really impactful in the games we played. He marked for Invision in our official, and you could really see the impact that he could have. And also on the official, it was a product, if I'm not wrong. He really was impactful. Like, I could struggle against him, whereas maybe on other games he could chill a bit more. But yeah, he totally deserved it. Congratulations to Viljack.
Yeah. See, that's what you get from a counter scout from another team, just respecting the legend that you have. And I don't think it's the first award that Viljack gets. It's one of the few that already has.
He went scout last time we played.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago. I think he was MVP then as well. Yeah, so he's like, I guess, well known as a scout. Lightclaw is a player that like I don't like playing against. He just appears and he's just in your face, and then it's just like bam bam, you're dead. So yeah, he definitely is someone who does crazy things, and having played against him on LAN as well, that's frightening. So yeah, kind of agree with that. It's quite a big difference though.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Spans and Lightclaw so close in votes, actually, like, I mean, I would obviously give a shout out to Spans because he has played pretty well for us. Like, he can be like really aggressive, especially taking Ubers with Noz and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, I mean, Croix stats actually have been really decent. Like looking at the charts TF, so I'm actually surprised. Like maybe he's kind of just done the work and then got out and not been like as noticed. But yeah, there is still a big difference to be fair. But Viljack is still a very good scout, and his Sixers experience coming there, I think.
I mean, Croix had to do it on a team that, like, with all due respect, was near the bottom of the table, like losing more of their games. So it's often harder to kind of shine stats-wise.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's probably like slightly more impressive, for, especially a scout, to kind of get as good stats as Croix did this season. Like, you think if you often kind of wonder if you put different players in different teams. Like, let's say if Spans or Lightclaw or Quiet were playing for Failure or Strong Opinions, how would their stats like be even better, in comparison?
What do you say, Mezzo?
I wanted to say that I feel like Samsky would have deserved like at least second place in my opinion.
Yeah.
He had like a really good season.
Yeah, I was expecting to see Samsky in the Scout of the Season nominations, but I was wrong.
he ended up placing 4th with 49 votes only. So.
Yeah, but still, I would say he didn't play that good in the final, I would say, but he would have deserved the second place, I think.
I think a lot of it comes down to like this impact factor. It's kind of interesting to see because I think if they end up getting like more mid picks or they end up taking more of the Ubers, then maybe it like sort of shouts out some more impact and they're more noticed, and then people are like, oh yeah, they did really well. Or some of it's like down to like whether they saw casts and they noticed like significant scout play. So there's a lot of different factors that come into it. But yeah, I agree. I'm surprised that Samsky didn't get a top 3 there, to be honest.
He's one of those silent killers, I think. You know, the one I mentioned before. He's doing his work and he's doing it amazingly well. It's just the stuff that he does is sort of like this, you know, he's just cleaning up after everybody else. And that's kind of the situation you have to deal with when you do a good job, but it's just not noticed. And, you know, all respect to all the people who have been nominated. As you can see, there's 5 people. And for all other nominations, really, we have 3 people each. So it really speaks for itself. Well, 4 or 7, as Wiethoofd is speaking into my ear, but it depends on the category, and we're talking about players, all right? So for players, congratulations to Viljab. We're going to move on to the next round of nominations and awards given. And we're going to move on to Soldier of the Season. We have 3 nominations here. Starting off with jakeowaty, 4 strong opinions with 5 nominations out of 7 games. So he's pretty much been playing the entire time, and he's been doing an amazing job at it. And second one is Newbie from Fela Esports, 6 nominations and 6 games respectively, doing an amazing job himself as well. I've loved watching his bombs, and I hate playing against him because you never know when he's coming, and he's coming for you, and you know you're going to die. And then rounding it off is Duo, or DWO, from Envision with 5 nominations and 6 games. So you can see it's 5 nominations for jakeowaty, 5 for Duo, and 6 nominations for Newbie. And that kind of speaks for itself, I think.
Yeah. Let's actually get right into the winners, and then you can discuss afterwards.
Yep.
So in 3rd place with 50 votes was Duo, and winning with 167 votes was jakeowaty, with Nubby in 2nd with 144.
Oof. Well.
I mean, it was always going to be close, wasn't it, really, between jakeowaty and Nubby, because honestly, their impact that they have for their teams is always huge. And it's quite close in the votes, like 39 to 46%. So personally, I felt like Nubby was probably more impactful, but then I say that, and you look through some of jakeowaty's plays, and his were just as impactful. So yeah, really well played to jakeowaty, I suppose.
They play really differently. Like Jackie plays just kind of controlling the flank, constantly conching and stuff like that. I mean, it's something we always talk about with whenever Heavy comes up with Amelia, right? Like we always talk about his main calling, and I think you got to bring that up with Jackie as well. But that doesn't contribute to his soldier play, I suppose. But as like a purely soldier, he's conching and holding areas down, and he's really controlling the flank. Whereas I think Nubby's much more direct and in your face. Like he's just a constant danger. Like as soon as you kill the soldier, you have to be worried. As soon as he spawns again, he's going to do a fast rollout and be right on top of you again. So he's someone you have to constantly be aware of. But yeah, I think it was this close last season as well, wasn't it? I swear there was only a few votes in it.
Yeah.
Like I think it's quite easy that these 2 are the best soldiers in Prem at the moment.
All right. Anything to say about Newbie? Like I said, I kind of hyped him up, and I kind of feel bad for not seeing him up there on the first place. But jakeowaty definitely has earned himself first place, even though it's by a very slight margin. It just only proves that those 2 are so closely matched. And Duo being slightly on the side, having less votes, but he has the same amount of nominations as jakeowaty. So I think it only says that other Prem teams really have respected what Duo can do.
I mean, Duo... Well, sorry, I was just going to say, like, in the Steel game we had against Envision, Duo was, like, a massive pressure for us. Like, he pretty much farmed the damage consistently, and I think he definitely is deserving of the 3rd place there, because he always has, like, the flank pressure, I feel, so...
I feel like that. because in the games we played, it was a coal plant. He was just really pressuring the flank from under, and you could really sense the pressure, literally, that he would put on your team. And he also made some good plays in the game, so yeah, deserved judgment.
Okay, well, congratulations to JakeowatyLex for winning the prize of the soldier. Gonna move on really quick to the third class that we're gonna show off today. Pyro of the season. Starting off with Yahoo from Strong Opinions, 5 nominations, 7 games, all around an amazing guy. Met him on LAN, had a couple of drinks with him, and he's just such a pleasure to hang out with. And next up is Strno from Factory Road with 4 nominations out of 6 games, doing pretty well for himself. And V-Clocks, I'm gonna say it here, my favorite Pyro. He might not win today, but he's still my favorite, and deep in my heart, from Fela Esports with 5 nominations, 6 games, and proky. How about you bring us the results?
All right. In third place is Strno with 56 votes. Winning par of the season with 186 votes is Yahoo, with V-Clocks in second with 100 votes.
Ooh. Well, congratulations.
That's well deserved, to be honest. Yahoo's been a lot of the votes for Yahoo there, but yeah, he's been really good. His shotgun pyro is legendary at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not fun to play against Best Buy, I can tell.
Yeah, he's like,
Serves. Yeah.
you kind of feel safe with when you play with Yahoo. Like, he's just kind of, he's really good at reflecting. Like, I remember in the final, Nubby, I thought, had my number at a couple of points, and Yahoo did some insane reflects. There was one on Cold Plant where I walked out of spawn and Nubby was right on top of me. And then Yahoo does this 180 reflect on him. It's just he's pretty nuts. I think definitely those guys, you see the experience. Strano's been playing in Prem for a long time now. I remember playing against him in a Prem final as well. So they're all kind of slightly different styles. Obviously V-Clocks with his jetpack.
Oh, stop it.
Pretty natty. But I mean, Yahoo is upgraded now after LAN, because at LAN he bought a 240 hertz monitor.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and left his old monitor just in Copenhagen because he didn't want it anymore. So when he came back from playoffs after LAN, he was 100 hertz better off.
So it really does speak the truth that the more hertz you have, the better player you are.
I'm still 60 hertz.
That's the reason why you're still not winning. That's the reason why you're still in the middle of the table.
Well, I got nominated, so that's something. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I got nominated for one category, which we're both gonna freaking lose. You know.
Buck's up for 3. He could go.
Are you for 3?
Yeah.
Oh, the debut of the season as well. We'll get to that. We'll get to that shortly, because we're gonna move on now to Demoman of the season. We have 3 people as usual: Joe in UFC, D-Toad, and Nas. Amazing demos all around. And Proky, please let us know who has won this prize.
In third place with 88 votes is Noz, and winning with 145 votes is Joe in UFC, with D-Toad in second.
Well, did really expect any other result than Joe actually winning this award?
I mean,
No.
I think he's has he won Demo of the season before, or
This is his second.
Yeah,
second? I did play really well though this season. I felt like third time Demo of the season I'm hearing from Wiethoofd. So yeah, I mean, obviously just testament to his consistency on the class really, and sort of pushing forward with his team and that sort of thing. So yeah, but I'll give a shout out to Noz because he did do really well for us, and his damage was insane.
Yeah, Joe is a really legendary player for me. He's just the player for Fela, in my opinion. He's just so good at demo. It's incredible.
But would you think, and especially as a question for Mezzo, would you think Joe wouldn't be as good without his medic?
Oh, no.
Oh god, you remember the camel worms here, Jake?
I'm just saying, I'm asking you questions.
He'd be better with a different medic. I'm just going to say it.
Oh, ooh,
He went there,
Really?
boys. He went
really?
there.
You're not
Yes.
just saying it to throw shade.
No, he would be better with a different medic. Fela would be better with a different medic.
No comment on that.
We'll see. We'll see, because the medic in question is still on the Medic of the Season award, and she might still win this. I mean, the CeeJaey is on the list as well. But there's still a chance because she's been nominated as well for Fela Esports. But Join UFC winning this one. Dito and Nas doing an amazing job themselves. I mean, I've seen some amazing stuff coming out of Nas and Dito, but I think the sole forceful presence that Joe has when he steps on the battlefield, when you see him lob his stickies, and for me, spectating him do that, it always just kind of feels like if I'm playing against him, if I was playing against him, I would be just scared because I have no idea what this crazy man is going to do. And I know when he decides to do it, he's going to complete the task.
Yeah, well, I mean, in caster terms, we ended up terming the Joe Zone after him. So, I mean, if anything, that's it's proven of how effective you can be with it. I don't know. I don't know. I actually made that up. It was too far away. But was it you, CeeJaey?
Yeah,
I can't remember. But
still not it's not credited for this.
You need to trademark that when you can.
Should have trademarked it. It's too late. No, I mean, all of those demos are absolutely crazy. When you play against Fela, you always have to gauge a demo, but with Joe, you always have to know how deep he's going to go and sometimes he'll just do stuff by himself and get a lot done. So it's kind of you kind of have to just react to that in the game and expect the unexpected. But also, I shout out for Noz as well. He pooed on us in week 3 whenever we played against weak cake sellers. We were not expecting him to be as dominant as he was. He did so much work for them. So respect to him as well, and obviously Dito, great players.
Okay, well, that wraps up the demo of the season, and we're going to move on to the heavy of the season. We have 3 people again, and those 3 people are Poker from Kitty's Back in Bardami, Included Middle from Fela Esports, and rounding it off with our guest tonight, Buck from Wheat Cake Sellers. And who are the winners?
So this is the least close vote of the evening, I believe. In 3rd place with 64 votes is Buck.
Yeah,
Winning the vote with 196 votes is Pozka.
Ooh, well,
Oh, no.
the Russian heavy from a
Impactful.
bottom-ranking team.
I mean, he did Merc in the playoffs, so that's probably where people are probably
yeah, finals.
he had 2 huge plays in the final. Sorry, Mezzo, carry on.
Yeah, it's fine. I feel like Middle would have deserved it more though. He had
Yep.
a way better season, way better. And Poker had a really good final, but he didn't really have to carry it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Middle's stats have been actually insane. He's managed to follow on the damage from Joe throughout the entire season. His KD is ridiculous. He barely takes any heals. Also, I will give a massive shout out to CeeJaey because his stats are actually better than mine, and he took less heals than me. And I feel like he should be up here rather than me. But I'll take the praise where it's due. But yeah, I mean, Poker had some decent plays in the finals, but overall, season-wise, I agree with Mezzo. I think Middle's probably deserving the 1st place more.
Yeah, there was 2 moments in particular in the final. I think one on Upward and one on Coal Plant where Poker got 6 Ks. And just kind of days were caught on cam, and he did absolutely insane. And he was really, really good for us in the playoffs. But Middle stats, I mean, if someone's got a lot of time to burn, if you can look back at all the stats, I think the stats go back to about season 7 or 8. I'm not sure there's been many heavies to have that quite high of a KD over the course of a season. His numbers were pretty crazy.
Well, is that everything we have to say about the heavy of the season? I believe personally that I've seen Poker, play many a times because we have casted a lot of Kitty's Back in Bardami games, and every single time I was amazed at the man's ingenuity. And I think, even though Included Middle is very solid heavy and performs at top level all the time, I think people like to watch Poker do his shenanigans, going off on his own little journey behind the enemy lines and taking 5 kills. And this is very flashy, and I think this is the reason why Poker was the winner of this one. But on stats, just straight up, Middle wins this one, I think. And that's kind of the consensus of that. Poker, more of a flashy player. He gets the job done, but Middle is the man that you can always lean on, rely on, and know that he's going to drive you home safely after a night of heavy drinking.
I can't partly agree with that. Also, I will say that Middle, for him to sort of be at this stage as well, the fact that he doesn't even main heavy race, he's played Soldier a lot. And the fact that he can take up the class and he just knows his team that well, with Joe and Layla and what he can get away with and that sort of thing. I think he just did really well with that. So yeah.
I mean, he was going to play Scout at the start of the season, wasn't he?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think, or at least I remember we played against him on Scout. Like, Middle can play so many classes at a high level. It's pretty good. He's probably one of the best multi-classes that's around in Highlander, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. And we're going to move on to Engineer of the Season. 3 people again. And for Fela Esports, it is Rambazor representing. Strong Opinions had Sec for 7 games out of their season, and Wheatcake Sellers employing Sun to build their dispensers. Proky, what do you think?
This is the closest vote of all 3 players.
You're not joking. It's the closest.
Yep, this is the closest vote. So, in 3rd place with 103 votes is Sun. And winning Engineer of the Season by 2 votes is Rambazor. With Sec in 2nd with 118.
Let's go, boys.
Wow.
The Rambo biceps come in strong.
2 votes from 3rd place.
Jesus.
That
That is
about Rambo,
ridiculous.
I feel like he had a really, really good season. He didn't lose a single game, and he sadly didn't make it to the finals, but I think he deserves so. He made a good job, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like Rambo's pretty much been impactful, and like he's legendary energy at this point, along with Sec. And it's actually surprising to see how close the votes were there. In all fairness, but yeah, I think it's interesting actually to see some of the cough, like especially on coal plant and stuff, with the metas changing for NG, like with the shutter sentries and also like with the aggressive sentries on like upward first and stuff like that. Like it's interesting to see all these like prem NGs come up with different things, and they'll probably make like new metas for the lower up down NGs. But yeah, Rambo definitely put all that.
Yeah, Rambo's like just really solid as NG. I hope someone's going to post the video of him at Copenhagen, like the biceps video. I think it's
Oh, God.
video, where he's doing an arm wrestle. Like the guy's a beast. No, I mean all of those NGs, like just really well played. I think that was the 3 players that we nominated. Like we felt Sun did really well this season as well, and obviously Sec. Like it's hard to stand out as NG, but it's mostly when the NG is being annoying and stopping you from doing stuff. That's when you know that they played well. So yeah, the 3 definitely deserve it.
Yeah, I think that's an actually I'm gonna shout out because like I think he was quite a solid defense on like some of our payloads and on steel as well. I think I noticed him doing pretty well. So he was always quite good coming with our flank, and for him to be up like the nominated was pretty good as well. But Sec as well, obviously, legendary range at this point for Strong Opinions. So yeah.
Well, so yeah, it only shows that all 3 players. It's just there's no engineer that is flashing in front of all the others, but more like all the engineers playing at a high level. And there's not much of a difference between their skill level. I mean, you could pick up any of these players and you would do amazingly well. And it shows in the polls as well. But Rambazor just edging himself out by 2 votes. That's kind of unfortunate for Sec and Sun. But nevertheless, it shows as well that they've been recognized and they've been voted for quite handsomely, because 102 votes and 100 votes is no difference at all. But we're going to move on to the medic of the season. And I think that this is the kind of part of this award show, especially when CeeJaey is on, that he just comes here to collect his checks. But we're going to go with the nominations anyway, as we have CeeJaey from Strong Opinions, obviously, with 5 nominations himself, then Layla from Fela Esports, and then Turcho from Envision, representing the Envision team. And what are the results, Proky?
So in last place for Medic is Layla with 66, and winning Medic of the Season is CeeJaey with 171 votes.
Boy.
Like I said, man, he's just coming here to collect his checks. So yeah, CeeJaey, actually, one thing that I would like to notice, and I'm looking at the stats collect here. It's an amazing website, I believe. Please give credit to whoever has made this website with all the stats combined. But Layla, 82 or 0.82 assists per minute. CeeJaey, you were 74. You're 3rd place behind Layla and Nier.
It's all about the heals, boys.
Look
Yeah,
at the heels.
I mean, assists is kind of a. I'm not sure.
This.
I'll just heal. The people getting the kill. I mean, it's different. Like I don't think things like KD or assists or anything like that really matter. It's usually about the heals and how often you die. I think I was quite low on the deaths, or high, however you want to put it. My death per minute were pretty bad when you look at my stats. I think if you take away the game against Failure during the regular season, where I died like a ridiculous number of times on Coal Plant, like that was probably the worst game in Prem I've had in a long time. That's really what screwed those stats. But yeah, I mean, I felt I played better against in the playoffs and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean,
I think in Prem, like with Medic, it's always interesting because there's a lot of factors that go into it. I mean, you've got like positioning, you've got Ubers, you've got deaths, you've got who you're healing, you've got healing priority, all this jargon. But I mean, you know, for these, I think these 3 medics have definitely proven themselves. I mean, personally, I'd probably prefer to see Seb up there rather than like maybe Tertia or Layla. That's just my preference because I feel like Seb's impact as a med is probably greater, just from a weak Excel's point of view. But like, you know, for CeeJaey, Tertia, and Layla to be there, you know, it's still decent. And CeeJaey obviously pulling his weight with like all the Ubers and trying to save his life as much as possible, preserve the Ubers for the pushes and that sort of thing. And same thing with Tertia. I think Layla actually has definitely like improved over like previous seasons that I've seen from like previous drops and stuff, like healing Joe quite a lot. And obviously that's testament in their results for the season. So yeah, I think these 3 medics are decent for nominations here.
And also, I'd like to tell you about Tercio, you know, the Envision player, my fellow kinsman, actually not being far behind CeeJaey this season around. 34% of the votes, as opposed to 47% for CeeJaey, is only 10%. I mean, he's catching up, and he's been doing an amazing job this season as well. And he's going to be playing for Nations as well.
Tertia's been around a while, hasn't he, as well? Like, I don't know what season he started, but
Tertia is just like middle. Like he's another like amazing multi-classer. Like I've seen him play demo heavy soldier. Yeah, so just that you get these players who are able to play like a lot of classes at a high level.
So it's gonna be interesting in the Nations Cup because we have some amazing medics. Not speaking about myself, but the ones on this list. And of course, you can see kind of it's funny because you have CeeJaey, and then you have 2 Polish people on the medic.
That's true, actually, yeah.
And I'm the third one, really, sitting here, also playing for Nations Cup, which is a spoiler, but I'm a sub for Nations Cup. And we have basically 3 or 4 like medics. It's kind of the situation we had in football when for some time we only had amazing goalkeepers and nobody else. So kind of the same situation happened again. It's just we have this spawn room of medics, but there's no teams that want us really. So we just play for our own teams.
Poland just stacking all the medics in one country.
Yeah, kind of how it works. But yeah, CeeJaey, man, congratulations. I mean, you deserved it. You've played an amazing season. But maybe it's a wake-up call when you look at those logs here, and the logs do not lie, is that you may have to speed up because the rest are catching up to you now.
You ever hear the phrase, like in football, you're making football analogies, it doesn't matter how much possession you have, as long as you have more goals at the end of the game. So
that's true. That is true. And on that note, on the getting the goals, we're going to go to Sniper of the Season. 4 nominations this time. We start out with Castle Rock for Fela Esports, Finske for Kitty's Backend Bardami, Cloudy for Strong Opinions, and then Stinghan for Envision. And who is the winner?
In 3rd place with 62 votes is Stinghan. And winning Sniper Season by 6 votes is Kazarok.
No.
Wow. 6 votes. That's not quite close.
He deserves still, not gonna lie.
I'm upset that Finske didn't get a better place, really. I mean, I work with Stinghan now. I play with him. So I should probably speak nicely of him. But he's not far behind Stinghan. And Finske, he has good days and bad days, but when he's on his good day, I don't think there's anybody who can stop him.
Yeah, Finske is really good, at least from what I could see playing against him. He was really hitting his shots, but Kazarok as well, so good result from
Sorry, I would say Kazarok was probably the most impactful play on Fela this season.
Yeah.
Because when you played against Fela, you were always like, yeah, pressure the sniper, kill Kazarok. And then you like get your jump done.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these snipers, I'd say, like you said before, I think Finske can have impact, but consistency-wise, I definitely agree that Cloudy, Kaz, and Stinghan are up there. Like, Stinghan actually playing against him because, like, I was a heavy getting headshot all the time, but Stinghan definitely turned it up, I think, this season. I've noticed him a lot more. But Cloudy and Kaza, like, from seeing some of their casted games and stuff, have just been on fire pretty much consistently. And like you said, Kaza having like the most impact, I would say, because Cloudy snipes like quite frequently. Like, he'll just like do snipe after snipe, but sometimes Kaza like will just come in with like some one random snipe out of nowhere and just get like a like a med or a heavy or a demo, and it'll just change the whole pace of the game, really.
Yeah, like Copenhagen, when Kitty came to play, loads of people were behind Fuzz just to watch him play, like, because it was pretty crazy, and he was doing amazing stuff. But Kaza as well has just had like an insane season. I remember at the start of the season, like Cloudy was talking about snipers. He didn't, like you're saying, Kaza was not a fan of sniping against him. So I think that's a massive compliment you can play to somebody, and definitely like. Every time we played against him, he was hitting, like, just consistently hitting shots. So, for another very close vote.
And yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Wrap all the awards for the class of the season with the Spy Award, and we have 3 nominees here: Yerba Mate from Envision, Mezzo from Fela Esports, who is with us today, and then Post from Strong Opinions.
I'm going to call him Chupa, but coming in third place is Chupa with 63 votes, and winning Spy of the Season with 159 votes is Mezzo.
Hey, congratulations!
That was unexpected.
Really?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
Weird
he won.
flex. Nah, I think Mezzo's deserving.
Who did you think that was gonna win it?
Toast.
Really?
I mean, he won. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he won, but in comparison, you have to remember that you guys been dominating the season, and while he's come in clutch for the last game or two, but you were the man who was basically making the most impact.
Really? Yeah, I don't know.
I think what it is, Mezzo, like, people notice your stabs more than they notice Toast's overall damage, because Toast kind of just like will get stabs, yeah, but like he mostly now plays Ambi like still in 2019, which I think is questionable, but we'll just leave that for another day. But I mean, overall, yeah, I think your impact has just been better. Like, I think your med picks was like the most, if I remember correctly. So I mean, that combined with just overall pressure from when you're alive and people having to play as like a combo close together, like with the pyro and stuff. So I think it's just that presence really that you put forward compared to like Toast, maybe.
I mean, you're throwing shade on the Ambi, but I seem to remember there being a few headshots on later in the final, so it seems to be doing the job. But I mean, the thing that Toast brings the most, I think, to our team was always his comms. We always know where stuff is, like sniper, and where the team's pushing. It's just like a constant narration of what's happening. So that obviously brings like a lot, but I think definitely Mezzo brings in sort of the weight of the kills into the team. Like, you just see constantly like uncloaking and going for a stab. It's just the constant like kind of aggressive play style that kind of Chupa has as well. I call him Chupa as well. Just kind of constantly on your back. You never get a moment to kind of relax and think, okay, I don't have to worry about the spy for a few seconds. It's just always there.
So, gentlemen, before we move on to the last 3 awards of tonight, another quick recap of who's gotten which award for each player, each class. And we're going to start with, obviously, the Scout. Best Scout of the season goes to Viljak from Strong Opinions. First award for Strong Opinions here. Best Soldier of the season, it goes to Jackie Legs, Strong Opinions as well here. Third prize of the season, third Pyro of the season award, goes to Yahoo from Strong Opinions as well, as Wiethoofd is working on some stuff. Fourth is basically, for now, domination by Strong Opinions, Scout, Soldier, and Pyro of the season. But this time around, we're going to Demoman of the season, and Joe in UFC is the one who claims this one for himself. Then for Heavy of the season goes to the way of Kitty's Back and Bardami with Poker winning the first prize. Engineer of the season goes to Rambazor, Fela Esports, a man of massive bicep. The Medic of the season goes to CeeJaey, as is custom in these parts. And the Sniper of the season goes to Kazark from Fela. Spy of the season, last prize for today, goes to Mezzo Fela Esports. And surprisingly enough, aside from Poker, Best Heavy of the season, we pretty much have our Dream Team Prem roster from the finals season 18.
I mean, Poker did play in the final as well, but I see what you mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, Team-wise, all right? Team-wise. Look at this. Strong opinions and Fail Esports pretty much all the way, aside from poker. So, without further ado, we're going to go to the best and the most important awards of the season. The three of them, actually. And I'm going to go to the debut of the season. Players who have just joined the Premiership, and they've shown themselves to be amazing. I mean, Buck, you've been nominated 3 times. And it's your second nomination, debut of the season, starting with Dwell from Envision, Croix, who's with us today from Fake Theory Road, Sun from Wheat Cake Sellers, Fire from Wheat Cake Sellers, Buck from Wheat Cake Sellers, Lucian from Fake Theory Road, and then 20 grams from Fake Theory Road, rounding it off. And Proky, please do let us know who is the winner of this one.
Another pretty close vote. So in third place we have Sun with 50 votes. And winning debut is Duo with 98 votes, and Lucian in second.
There you go.
I think that's deserved, honestly. I actually put Lucian up there because I think Lucian's season has been absolutely insane. Duo, I actually didn't know he was debut, to be fair. But yeah, Duo has been really good, I think, and it's been quite close, to be fair, calling these debuts. But yeah, to see Sun up there as well, that's really good for us since Wheat Cake Sellers, because I think he's had a pretty good season as well. Being pretty solid defense on NG.
Yeah, I think Duo, like, he was up for the Soldier vote, obviously as well. Like he was definitely one of the players that stood out on Envision this season. We talked about Sun earlier as well, just being like on a class that doesn't usually stand out, and he did stand out on Engineer, and Lucian as well. I mean, it's crazy how many players there. Like, you could say all of them have an argument to be in the top 3 there. All of them had a really good season, like 20 grams as well. I think his spy stats were pretty good. I think he was among like the top 3 or 4 in most of the categories. And, you know, Qua as well, again, was like one of the better scouts. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good players there.
Bucky, what do you think? Did you think that this season was your debut? Was it the best season of your life, or is that yet to come?
I just have to wait and see. I mean, it depends on if the players stick around and, you know, what ends up happening with Prem. I mean, it's a very interesting situation with Prem and Div 1 now because of, like, all these teams kind of forming and players kind of going between teams and stuff like that. But I think Weak Excellers is, like, mostly to keep together, I think. So I'll have to see if... well, we won't be debut anymore, I suppose, since we're staying in Prem. But yeah, I'll have to see if we can take any more player or class awards home.
All right, so moving on. Best player of the season overall. 3 nominees here. And it's Joe and UFC representing Fela, Mezzo representing Fela, and then Cloudy, the sniper for strong opinions. And who has won that prize, ProQ?
So in third place with 95 votes is Joe. And winning by 6 votes is Mezzo.
Wow!
Congratulations!
6 votes!
Nice.
So Cloudy lost both his polls by 6 votes tonight.
Whoa.
Oh no.
It's almost the devil number for Cloudy.
Wow. Cloudy is really upset right now. I can read the chat. He's upset, but he deserves to be upset. I mean, CeeJaey, you could give him a big hug from us, because the man really deserves the recognition he gets. It's just 6 votes is unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He had like a crazy season. Like, I felt he was one of the players who was like super consistent for us all season, and like at LAN as well, he had some great games. And in the final, like, we were talking about how amazing Kaza was earlier on. Like, we knew that going into the final, and Cloudy definitely stood his ground and showed like why he's still one of the best snipers around. His stats. So yeah, 6 votes. That's harsh.
But then Mezzo, I mean, I believe Wiethoofd saying that it's the second time you've won both Spy and Player of the Season awards, and the first time was in Season 15, and now Season 18, you did the same feat again.
Yeah.
The impact is real.
The impact is real, man. You may not feel it, but you're a big presence on the battlefield, and definitely is being felt by the backs of all the other players that play against Fela. We shall see as it goes for the next season. But I believe we're going to the most important award of all. The award that's going to end all awards, with 3 representatives of that award here with us in this chat, myself included, and that is the caster of the season. And we have 4 nominations, and it's based on the games they've casted. We have Extra Solar, CeeJaey, Buck, and myself. So, Proky, please, just take your time, lay it down, because I'm 100% sure I'm not going to win this one either.
Oh, it's been the closest it's been for a while. The closest it's been for a while.
Just go slowly,
In third place is Extra Solar. With 98 votes.
You cast in most games against the... Ooh. That's yikes.
Alright.
And then winning Cast of the Season for Season 18 with 123 votes is CeeJaey.
Aww.
CeeJaey.
And Jake in second with 111 votes.
Jake, I don't know why you're surprised, man. We had that arm wrestle at LAN. You said turning down all future...
That means nothing! That means nothing!
It was that's what happens, man. You gamble. No. I don't know.
No. It's only because you have an emote and I don't. That is the only reason.
I think me and Jake actually casted quite a few games, like not very many games this season between the two of us. With all due respect, like Jake is obviously fantastic, did an amazing job at LAN, but I mean Extra Solar and Buck, and shout out to James as well for doing the open final. A lot of people did a lot more casts than us this season, so they, those guys definitely need the plaudits as well.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to James and Noise because the casting style is intriguing, but it was pretty entertaining to watch longer. So yeah, there's a lot of memes in the chat about them being on this, but yeah, we'll play to CeeJaey again. I think it's just the presence really and the hype beast mode, as I like to call it, that comes out sometimes. So let's keep it going.
Man, I'm sad, disappointed,
Unlucky.
disappointed, unlucky. Quoting Joe and UFC, unlucky. But congratulations, CeeJaey. It's another award to your collection. I believe you're the one with the most awards at this point.
Yeah.
Most.
Don't say that too much because Toast gets really triggered because he doesn't like the fact I'm just a caster.
Yeah, we should differentiate these. I mean, we probably should scrap the idea, though. Delete them because there's no point. There's no point because CeeJaey gets all of them, so you might as well just
Yeah, but then that way we can look in 50 years' time, people will look back and think Admirable was one of the best Sixes players of all time because he has 1 billion.
Yeah, and then nobody will remember me because I have not gotten a single Caster of the Season award. But I think on that happy note, we should probably start wrapping this one up. But before we do, there's a few more things that we should probably talk about are in there. First of all, the season is done and dusted, but season 19 is upcoming. And in addition to that, we have Nations Cup. New totals. Oh, we're going for new totals for the awards. And CeeJaey, holy crap! Why do you have so many? Why do you need them? Share it, man. Just give me 3. You don't need that many.
It's the big Spanish CeeJaey.
I need to get more so I can get double the amount of toast. So that he will finally
He's going to flex this on Steve now.
Well, just dominated by strong opinions, really. I mean, you have CeeJaey, Steve, and Toast in top 3. All of them strong opinions players. Lazy Bear still in top 4, or top 5, I should say. You have Shadowburn, a legend.
Oh yeah, there wasn't a clock of the season, was there this season? That's interesting. Well, there will be next season though, so let's wait around for that one.
Can I drop some trivia?
Sure. Go ahead.
So there's 4 players in history who've won the triple that Buck was going for.
The debut caster and the class.
Well, I mean, class of the season, debut, and MVP. Yep. So Lazy Bear did it on Scout. Ast also did it on Scout. Blub did it on Demo. And Shadowburn did it on Soldier. So all those 4 guys are the only people who've ever won 3 awards with class, debut, and MVP. And there's only 2 people who've ever won MVP more than once, as far as I'm aware. One of those is Mezzo, when he won Sniper and MVP, and now Mezzo. He's won Spy and MVP. So I think, as far as I'm aware, I'm not sure. I'd have to double check about Sandburn. I can't remember if Sandburn.
Look at this smug smile of Mezzo. Look at him. Look at him how smug he looks.
Oh, no, bro.
He's too modest for that.
No, he looks smug. He looks smug. I can feel the pride, the inner, arrogance just kind of starting to kind of burn inside of him. Look at him. Oh yeah, he's. I mean, for a long time there was nobody else but Steve, and then Steve decided to leave. He vanished, and for 100 years there were no pyro. And then now you have 3 amazing pyros, in the form of V-Clocks, in the form of Yahoo, and it shows and it feels, man. They just revamped the class completely from what we've used to see from Steve.
There's only 3 people who've ever won Pyro of the Season. Like, the awards have been out since season 5, and we're on season 18. Steve was won like 8. Sinrise won once, I think it was season 13, and Yahoo's won 4. So has Garden Fungus won?
Oh.
Or maybe he did with Elephant. Yeah, so I stand corrected. So 4 players have won, which isn't really many when you consider it's been, 14 seasons or something?
It's godlike pyros.
Godlike pyros, if pyros could be godlike. But is that the segue we're looking for? It's not a segue at all. Is that the Nations Cup are coming, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to use a little bit of time to talk about that. We have Croix here, who is going to play for the French national team. Are you guys going to participate in that?
Italian.
Yes, we are going to participate. And I applied to the leader spot. And I probably think I'm going to get, since I'm the only one who has applied, if I am informed correctly. But yes, our roster will be kind of a mashup, because since Zever left the game, that was, I guess, 2 years ago, we don't really have main pyros. So I will be forced to play pyro unless we find another player. And on heavy, we will be having Ace, which is a 6 magic main that has previously played heavy, if I'm not wrong, in budget 2 clans, maybe. And but we will have Ixie, Prem, 14 Prem Scout, but he's a 6 main. And on Soldier, we will have Max, obviously, me on Pyro, Fluo on Demo, even though he's a 6 Soldier main. And then we will be having Ace on Heavy. On Engineer, we will be having Erupo. Then Medic Godzares, Sniper Bess, and the Spy 20 grams. So it's half from Factory Road and half from the Sony Briscola Club, which played the playoffs in Div2L Highlander this season, if I'm not wrong. So I'm looking forward for at least a playoff spot, since we have both Prem and Div1 players. But we will have to see, since summer of classing.
That seems likely. I mean, with that roster, and any of you gentlemen are going to participate in the Nations Cup?
You got a Spanish one, CeeJaey.
No, at least I'm not leading one this time around. There's not very many people left playing. I think I'd probably think of like 2 or 3 still playing Highlander, let alone 6s as well. So, I mean, I think actually when you look at all the other teams, I think from what I've been hearing from various people applying for captain and supposed lineups, it's hard to know until captains are announced and people start actually getting on rosters. But from logs that you've seen people scrimming, the Americans might be putting together a team. I actually think that it's going to be a number of teams in the hat. I think the past few Nations Cups, it's always been is it going to be Sweden winning again, or is it going to be the US being able to beat them kind of thing? But this time around, I do think there's going to be a number of teams who could actually fight that top spot.
Yeah, because I actually I've enlisted on the Polish national team as a sub, so I have a little bit of ins and outs of that. And just by looking at it, we surprisingly enough, Poland has a lot of players that are still active, and there's a lot of people to choose from. The problem is that the personalities that we have are very strong, so people just bicker and don't agree with each other, so it's kind of difficult to get the teamwork going. But individually, we have some really good players. I mean, we have Turcho, who's been nominated for Medic of the Season. He's been having an amazing season so far. Stingen on Sniper. Those are some players that definitely are a force to be reckoned with. And
is it true that Doom's coming back for the Nations Cup?
He may. We have Stan Barthes, who's I think he merked 1 game for Prem, but he's this up and coming heavy, and he's from what I've seen, how I've seen him play, he's absolutely incredible to watch and a pleasure to play with. because you just know he's gonna get the shit done. You know, it looks good. All right, we still have some kinks to work out. We still have a lot of time to work out as well, because it's a little bit of a time for this to start. I mean, it's June 4th is the group stage, so we still have like 2 weeks left, or maybe a week. But definitely. So it's basically Croix, myself, and how about you guys? You know, the Brits, the British boys, England.
Yeah, the English situations. I think there's like 4 possible captains. I mean, it's probably. I mean, I think Joe.
There's 2 that
Cloudy.
are deployed.
It's 2 that are deployed.
Hill.
Hildreth's not going to come back. He's dead and buried, Jake. Unfortunately, at this point. But yeah, I don't know what's really going to happen with it. I haven't really seen the rosters. I might be on it, might not be on it, but see what the heavy or the medic situation's like, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the English team is usually saturated, right? You have a lot of players that want to play.
There's quite a lot of like players that aren't that active though now. I mean, you've got like, I mean, I don't know whether Granger still is around. Cherry, I don't know whether he's still doing stuff for NG, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Basically,
I've seen both the potential England rosters, and those players are on neither of them. So.
Oh no. Okay, well there you go then. So point proven.
And then Mezzo, you're gonna play for the German team?
Yeah. Maybe, I think so. I hope so.
Let's hope not, because I want to play against you.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't. To be fair, if we just got like 2 MVP of the seasons.
Yeah, I mean, Mezzo, if we're playing Germany as Poland, I'm just gonna have Tercio to play this one, because I'm not taking part in this. This is suicide.
Feel bad.
Not against Mezzo, please don't. I mean, yeah, I mean seasons. I mean, I think last year we didn't have Nations Cup. We had like Nations Cup 2 years ago.
It was a Sixes one last year.
It was a Sixes one, yeah. And I've always liked those Nations Cups because they're always kind of like, you have no idea what's going to happen. You have a bunch of teams that play in their native languages. And for me, as, if I learned English through TF2, TF2 taught me English. So when I think about TF2, I think in English. And then I have to play for a Polish team that speaks in Polish. And I have to translate everything that's happening into Polish. So it's an extra step for a medic to take, which you're not supposed to. So it's definitely an interesting situation. Maybe some talents will show, but we'll be covering it here on KritzKast. We'll be trying to cover every single game. So Buck and CeeJaey, you are strapped in for this season and are going to be casting no matter what.
Well, plus if I'm not playing. If I'm not playing, I will be casting.
You'll be casting anyway because you're going to lose early on. All right. So that's
well,
how it's going to.
Cheers for the spirit.
Always, man. Always. So
right, I'll be there to cast Buck's triumphant victory.
Oof.
If he gets on the team first. So, any last words? Because I think we've done everything we're supposed to do for today, unless there's something I have missed from the list.
Could do shout-outs, possibly? I guess if I'm shouting
shout-outs are in order.
Shout out to WeekXL, shout out to Wiethoofd for producing this, even through all of his technical antics, and shout out to KritzKast obviously for keeping going with the casting. Looking forward to the Nations Cup, and I think that's about it really.
Any of you boys? Proky, how about you? You've been kind of quiet on download, just reading the awards.
I've got quite a list actually.
Oh, here we go.
Shout out to ETF2L stuff. Without them, no season, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Sandwich, to Sek, Unlucky Buddy, to Mezzo, to Oleski, to Austin, to Jeevan, and shout out to Middle, of course, and Moist Penguin. Never forget Moist Penguin.
Rip Moist.
Rip Moist. All right, boys. Croix, who would you like to shout out to?
Well, obviously, shout out to Factory Road, especially 20 grams, Lucian, leaders that every scream, and shout out to my Sixes team, Ditoid, DQZ, Utka, and Archery, Jorge, obviously, and then shout out to Ace, shout out to Aventador, shout out to G's, and KritzKast, obviously, for having me the show. Thank you.
Thank you for being here and, using your Sunday evening, which you could have done anything you want in the world, and you've decided to sit with a bunch of nerds and talk about Team Fortress 2. Moving on, Mezzo, who would you like to shout out?
Shout out to Porky. Shout out to Kazarok. Shout out to SCCK. I will join them next season, so hope we will have a great time playing Highlander. Shout out to Failer. And shout out to Wiethoofd.
There you go. And CeeJaey, last but not least.
Yeah, shout out to KritzKast and Wiethoofd for setting all this up, and Jake for hosting and leading us through all of the awards.
Kind of like herding
yeah,
cats.
And yeah, just shout out to my team, everything like that, for a fun season, and yeah, for you guys for covering it.
I've got an emergency shout out. Apparently, Shippo and Madman want me to shout them out as well. Otherwise, I'm cut. So yeah, it's going to cover my butt there.
All right, and I'm going to wrap it up with my last shout out. Shout out to all the KritzKast staff, all the amazing people I've met on LAN. Shout out to all of you guys who join us and use your free time to talk about Team Fortress 2. Shout out to my mom, because it's Mom's Day in Poland, and you got to respect because you only have one mom. So shout out to her, definitely. Shout out to basically everybody who just made it happen, Wiethoofd especially. And shout out to you people who voted for me for Caster of the Season. I was not far behind CeeJaey, and all your votes are very much appreciated. I thank you for every single one of them. And better luck next season. But thank you, gentlemen, for joining us for tonight. This has been the KritzKast Award Show for Season 18 of Highlander. Next season will be underway in some time, but for now, please do enjoy the little bit of a break that we have between now and the Nations Cup, which we're going to be covering here on the KritzKast. So please do stay tuned. Follow us on social media, where we're going to be posting all the updates. And if you're feeling like sponsoring us, helping us out, subscribe to the channel or Patreon, whatever works for you. Thank you very much for joining us, and good night.